American Morning, the most news in the morning, period. Weekdays 6 Eastern.
Brad, let's start off with you. Your brother Dallas here organized bus trips under the banner of Hands Off My Health Care. He called the plan health control, called it health rationing. You have called some of the people who come out to these town halls protesting, quote, angry mobs of rabid right-wing extremists. Do you include your brother in that?
Well, John, unfortunately, I think I do. I mean, I didn't see the results of his bus tour, and I don't think that he personally attended any town hall meetings. But I think it's the misinformation, in fact, in some cases, the out-and-out lies that the other side is telling about the president's plan that are inciting these people and making them angry. I mean, if some of these things that they're saying about the president's health care plan were true, I'd be angry. The fact of the matter is, though, they're not. That whether it's the euthanasia charge or rationing or government takeover or Canadian-style health care. I mean, these are just crazy charges, and of course they would make people angry. The problem is they don't happen to be true.
Well, let's bring Dallas in here. Dallas, Brad says that you're helping to incite confusion and anger, spread mistruths about the health care reform plans. What do you say to that?
John, can I just tell you that it is simple that the president is losing this debate. You know he's losing this debate when people like my brother and the White House start attacking hardworking, tax-paying citizens as mobsters, and when Nancy Pelosi calls them un-American. They're losing this debate because people are reading the bill. They are learning information, and they know that government, the same government that can't get water to thirsty people in a hurricane, will destroy the best healthcare system in the world by a complete government takeover. They do not want a Washington bureaucrat in the exam room with them and their doctor. And by the way, Brad, when you report me to the White House snitch campaign, please get my name spelled right. It is Dallas like the city, last name Woodhouse.
Brad, you're not going to report him to the White House, are you?
No, of course not. And see, this is just the problem, though, John. You cannot have an honest debate with folks like my brother on this issue. I mean, no one has proposed. The president's been the last person to propose a government takeover of health care. He said we need to build on the current system. So, you know, look,
but what
I'm
about
proud
cutting
of my
hundreds
brother.
and
Look,
hundreds of billions of dollars out of Medicare?
Look,
you can't cut hundreds of billions of dollars out of Medicare without denying sick and old people treatments. You know, your mama's on Medicare, Brad. Your mama.
Dallas, that's just not, first of all, that's just not true. That's not what the president has proposed. He told a AARP
Is it not in the House bill to cut out hundreds of millions of dollars out of Medicare?
He told an AARP group, there is not one penny of benefit cuts that have been proposed by the president out of Medicare. He's talked about something we've talked about for a long time, wringing inefficiencies out of the system, stopping overpayments.
You mean sick and old people?
And,
you mean sick and old
and
people?
closing the prescription drug donut hole. Now, Dallas, you're peddling falsehoods here, and you shouldn't do that.
All right, let me play mom and jump in here for a second to keep the brothers apart. Dallas, your group Americans for Prosperity is aggressively advertising against the proposals that are making their way through the House and the Senate. Let's just run a little bit of one of those ad campaigns.
Do you trust Washington with your life? Congress is rushing to take over health care, too, paid for by $600 billion in new taxes and cutting $400 billion from Medicare. Plus, tens of millions will lose their current insurance and wind up on the government health plan.
All right, Dallas, let's take a look at that. You talked already about the cuts in Medicare, and there's some argument about that, but you just said that tens of millions of people will lose their health insurance and be forced into a government plan. Where does it say that in any of the plans?
You know, John, we are reasonable people that can look at a piece of legislation and look at the consequences of what that legislation will do. It doesn't have to be written on paper. It wasn't written in the FEMA legislation for them to bundle getting water to thirsty people. The reality is that this plan will incentivize private companies for dropping their insurance. I would ask my brother 3 questions. Can he guarantee that no company in America will drop private insurance to people on the public plan? Can he guarantee it won't increase the deficit? And can he guarantee that it won't put the government in charge of rationing health care? He can't say that.
All right, Brad, let's answer those 3 questions.
I can answer all 3 of those questions. First of all, the president's plan will eliminate the type of rationing the insurance companies are doing now. Remember, the insurance company ration health care by denying people coverage for pre-existing conditions, dropping people when they get sick. So the president's plan will say no more of that. Second of all, the CBO said that the president's plan would not result in insurance companies going
after he put the
out
muscle
of
on him at the White House.
All right, I'm answering your questions, Dallas, with a public option. And so, we're peddling more falsehoods here, and this is what's
okay,
resulting, John.
What about increasing the deficit? The CBO said it would add $239 billion to the deficit.
Well, first, the president has said that this has to be. He said he won't sign a bill that's not deficit neutral over the next 10 years. So he'll depend on the CBO to score whatever the final bill is, and he said he will not sign it if it's not deficit neutral. So,
all right.
Dallas, I think I answered all your questions.
And let me put one more question out to both of you, and let's just take a few seconds to answer this. If two brothers can't agree on this plan, how is the rest of the country ever going to agree on it?
I think the rest of the country has agreed on it, John. They don't like it. The polls show the president dropping like a rock on this issue. And the reality is he's losing it on the merits because the more people find out about it, they don't like it. They may be frustrated with their insurance companies, but at the end of the day, they do not want government managing all of the health care system. At least with their private insurance companies, if they don't like them, they can go sue them. They can't even sue the
final word
government.
to you. Can't you just all get along on this? Can't you find common ground?
Well, clearly we can't, and clearly my brother is looking at maybe his own polls. I mean, over and over again, the public has said that they want to reform the health insurance system. And you know what? The problem for Dallas and the people that are doing these protests is the truth is, in the end, the president's going to get a bill, and he's going to get a bill.
In other words, we're going to shove it down the throats of the American citizens.
Can I ask one question? Do you guys get along normally, though? Are you buds, or have you guys always sort of butted heads, sibling rivalry?
We're very close. I love my brother to death. He's one of the best partisan political hacks in America, and he wouldn't be at the White House, and he wouldn't be invited over to the cocktails at the White House if he weren't very good at what he does. I'm just a little simple community organizer like the president used to be in North Carolina, and I just go around defending taxpayers.
All I can say is, it is going to be an interesting Thanksgiving.
It's very loud. It's very loud at the Woodhouse house.
Dallas
and
Bragg,
is very loud.
That's one of the more interesting debates
I love you,
we
brother.
have had
Spell
on
my
this.
name right. Spell it right to the
Bye,
Snitch
Dallas.
campaign.
Gentlemen, thanks very much.